I'm already envisioning what it's going to take to get Deshaun off of the team. I said it yesterday. I don't think you can bring him back. Like, you can't bring him back in the facility next year, in my opinion. I think it's too negative. He's played too bad. I just think even if you have to pay him to be sitting at home, I don't think he can be in the building next year. It's too toxic.
So what do you do to get rid of him then? Because that's the biggest question that everybody wants to know right now. And obviously you already brought up the one main thing, right? As a team in 2016, I believe, or where's the date? 2017, we took on $37 million from Brock Osweiler, and then we just cut his ass. And, $37 million for us to swallow that. We got a second-round pick from the Houston Texans. We're going to have to ask someone to swallow 96, 72 million. That's almost like 3 times, right?
It's
somewhere around there. And so what are we going to have to give up for that? If we got a second, is it going to be like draft day? We're going to give up 3 seconds so we can get our first back. I'm being silly, but at the same point, what do we got to do? Give up a 1? Because I don't want to give up another 1.
No, it's one of those things where the main team I've heard about in this scenario is the Carolina Panthers, because they have a boatload of cap space and they need picks because they need to reload. Okay, so they've been the main team I've heard when I've heard this scenario brought up, and it's everybody's saying they're going to come and they're going to ask for a 1. And if you're the Browns, do you bite the bullet and give up 1 more first-round draft pick just to get him off of your and you wouldn't even get him completely off your books. You would be getting like half of it off of your books. You would still be on the hook for some. Do you do that just to get him out of the building and just to be done with it? But then I guess it depends on how much do you love one of these quarterbacks coming out of the draft this year, or a guy like Travis Hunter. Because if you absolutely love one of those guys, then you got to hold on to that first round pick. So then you start saying, do you throw another high end player with them in a couple second round picks or something like? They're going to have to get creative, but that's going to be one of the only ways. It's either that or you keep them on your active roster and you just tell them to stay home and collect a paycheck, and that's basically the only other affordable way to do it, is to keep him on the roster. And then the other option, which we wanted to talk about, is it was reported today that even though he settled his most recent lawsuit out of court and there's a confidentiality agreement and all this, it was kind of assumed that meant the NFL would not be looking into it, but Roger Goodell announced today that the NFL is still investigating. So there is still a chance that he will be suspended or receive some sort of punishment from the NFL for this latest allegation, even though he settled. I don't know what is all involved in his settlement. There was supposedly a video. I'd have to think that part of the settlement agreement is that she wouldn't cooperate and give this video to the NFL. I don't know how all that works. But yeah, that's the cheapest, most affordable way for the Browns to get out of it. And as much as I would like that to happen, that also means there's probably really bad evidence that he did something pretty terrible to somebody. So I don't want that either. So
no, who wants to deal with that anymore? There's a human being that got allegations against him for,
and these allegations
violated
are significantly worse than anything else that has come out. So
it's not good.
But that is, if the NFL suspends him, not only we don't have to pay him his contract, I believe we can recoup some money. I don't 100% know the details on, but I think we can recoup some of the money. So that's still in play. That was just announced today before we decided to start recording. Was the NFL is still investigating that. I know a lot of Browns fans are hoping for that. In the back of my brain, I'm it'd be nice, but then I depending on the evidence, that means you had to hope something pretty bad happened to somebody for that to happen. So it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yep.
So
100%.
It's but there's not many options, and I know we had not even that long ago, like 6 weeks ago, we had Jack Duffin on here talking about how the Browns were fine with the cap because the way that they were operating this cap we would be able to extend people and push it down the road, and you can split it up, and you do all this creative stuff, and you pay with cash. I guess one thing, and we need to get Jack back on here, is we never discussed what happens if the guy doesn't know how to play football anymore.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean?
So basically, so what I think can happen is next year, regardless, we owe him $172 million, and then what you do is you have his contract's done in 2026, but you can do the 2 void or null years, whatever they call them, for the next 2 years. So you would have to cash pay him out, and then against the books, you would take that 172, and please comment if I'm wrong. You take that 172 and it becomes 43 mil a year. And I've said it before. Well, technically the salary cap goes up 30 million a year on average. The NFL has a great year. Maybe it's 40 million. Well, then what ends up happening is you're running on the 2024, 2023 operating budget and kind of sinking Deshaun's cost and telling him just to go away. And nobody really wants that, because, I mean, then we're really cheering on 2029 or 2030. I'm hoping I'm still around by then. Like freaking car comes and gets me, and then I've never seen a Super Bowl with the Browns in it, so who knows? But all jokes aside, it's a long time to wait, and this was what sucks about this guaranteed money and it's the worst contract because you can't get out of it. Unless, like you were saying, we literally have to give picks away to a team that has a ton of cap room, then they cut them and break. We owe some and they owe some, and go from there.
It's an ugly situation that the only way it gets better is if he miraculously starts playing better, which I don't foresee happening. So,
well, I mean, look at it. Like we want to get on here. We want to talk about Amari Cooper and possible, and we're talking about Deshaun, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like, people are like, well, Deshaun forced Amari out, and Deshaun's doing this. Who's the next guy that might just say, hey, I've had it, trade me or whatever? And man, if we can just get out of this situation and see something to hope for, something to cheer for, because when offense stinks, so does the whole team.
This episode is sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Hey, Dog Pack, we do a lot of fun promos on the show, but let me ask you a serious question this time. Do you think the world's going in the right direction, or, does it kind of feel like a lot of things are falling apart? Hurricanes, tornadoes, natural disasters, we just had a pandemic, foreign wars, threats of escalated conflicts. It could be a lot, guys. I get it. And if you're feeling alarmed, you're not alone. Your views, one way or another, they don't change the fact that we all need to be prepared for our families, and that starts with having an emergency food supply. We're living in crazy times, and that's why so many people are making sure their homes are prepared and stored with food. And right now, you can get yourself and your family ready with a 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. It comes with delicious foods like creamy stroganoff, honey wheat bread, cheesy broccoli soup, spaghetti, chili mac, even pancake mix. The entire kit offers 2,000 calories every day, and the food lasts up to 25 years. Who knows what things will look like then? But if that dreaded day does come, you will be ready. Go to thedogspodcast.com/patriot right now to order your 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. Protect your food situation for things like extended power outages, cyber attacks, natural disasters, quarantines, even things like job loss and income reduction, whatever the situation might be. Make sure that your most basic needs are covered so that you can focus on whatever else you need to do. That's thedogspodcast.com/patriot to order your 3-month emergency food kit now from My Patriot Supply.